Jai Sri Ram. By the grace of Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Jagannath, Lord Sri Ram, we will continue the story of Ramayana part 2, chapter 4. We shall bring Ram back. If you are not watched the previous chapter of Ramayana, you may go to the playlist or click on the I button so that you can understand the story of Ramayana from the beginning and you can connect the chapter 4. The chapter 4 is like this. The next day, as twilight approached, Vaishishta came to Bharata and said, "Rage of now, O prince, and sake of this grief. The time has come to perform your father's funeral. Come quickly, O Bharat, for the ceremony is long overdue." Seeing the sage, Bharata fell prostrate at his feet, saying, "So be it." After quickly bathing and changing his clothes, he went with Vaishishta to the place where his father's body was lying in its tank of oil. Vaishishta had Dasharatha's body brought out and laid upon a golden bier studded with numerous bright jewels. As he gazed at his father, Bharata lamented, "O great king, you always knew right from wrong. After sending Rama and Lakshmana into exile, what did you intend to do? How shall I act now, my lord? Alas, I am lost. Where have you gone, dear father, having this servant of yours distressed and forlorn? Where now is that glorious Ram who performs great deeds with little exertion?" Bharata stood at his father's feet. Dasharatha lay covered with white silks and adorned with royal ornaments. Bharata cried to him piteously, "Now that you have left for the heavens, O king, who will protect the people? Deprived of you, this earth no longer appears attractive. Indeed, the city of Ayodhya looks like a dark night bereft of the moon." Vaishishta came up to Bharata and said, "Gather yourself together, O prince. You should now carry out the last rites for the king with a cool mind." Bharata asked the priests to proceed with the ceremony. The Brahmins brought out from the king's apartment his sacred fire, which he had maintained throughout his life. Placing the fire at their head, they carried the king to the cremation ground, their throats choked with sorrow. As the procession made its way along the road, the citizen came out of their houses and walked ahead, scattering flowers and pieces of new cloth on the road. At the cremation ground on the bank of the Sarayu, the priests prepared a prayer with various types of fragrant woods. They placed Dasharatha upon the prayer and began to chant the sacred hymn of the Samveda to invoke good fortune. Bharata took a flame from the king's sacrificial fire and lit the prayers. The king's wife, along with the princess and the priests, then circumambulated the fire, their hearts burning with grief. The women wailed piteously. Kausalya and Sumatra fell to the ground, crying like a pair of female cranes. Although they both longed to ascend the prayer and and follow their husband. They longed even more to see Ram and Lakshmana return. As the fire died down, all of the king's relatives went to river bank and offered palmfuls of that holy water to his departed soul. They then returned to the city and spent the following 10 days grieving, taking little food and laying upon the bare ground, their eyes filled with tears. On the 11th day, the final obsequial rites were performed, and on the 12th day, Bharata gave to the Brahmins much charity of his father's behalf. On the following day, Bharata and Shatrugna returned to the cremation ground to collect their father's ashes. Upon arriving at the funeral pyre, the two princes saw their father's remains, and they cried out in pain, remembering again the king's various affectionate gesture towards them. They fell to the ground and rolled about. Shatrugna lamented angrily, "A fair sea and formidable sea of grief has been unleashed by Manthara. Koikei wounds are its great wave, and her words its fearful alligators. Alas, this violent ocean has swept over us all. Where have you gone, dear father, having behind poor Bharata, who is yet a tender boy?" Shatrugna stood up with his arms outstretched. How strange that this earth doesn't split into. Seeing you gone, and Rama retired to the forest. We two brothers shall also go to the woods, for we cannot return to Ayodhya, rendered desolate without our fathers and father and brother. All the attendants of Bharata and Shatrugna were distressed to see the prince agony. Comforting the royal brothers, the omniscient Vaishishta said, "Your father has surely ascended to the highest regions of bliss. He was ever pious and never committed a sin, even in his mind. You grieve needlessly, for the soul of your father is eternal and has gone to the Lord's eternal abroad." The two princes stood with folded hands, looking at the royal priests. Putting aside their grief, they listened attentively as the sage continued. The body is always dead, being composed of nothing more than lifeless matter. It is born and remains for only a short while, with destruction being its inevitable end. Only a fool grieves for the unavoidable. The wise understand that this entire world will be destroyed along with all its living creatures. It is the soul alone that will survive. Vaishishta pointed to the king's remains as he spoke. The king had achieved the perfection of life and would not take another bath. Those devoted to God's service leave this temporary world forever. For them, there is no more suffering. The princess should shed their grief and perform their duties. Their father now sat in the highest heaven, while the kingdom stood in need of their protection. After hearing the sage spiritual instruction, the brother gained strength. They took their father's ashes and placed them in the sacred Sarayu river. Along with all their attendants, they made their way back to Ayodhya. As they walked, Shatrugna spoke to Bharata how strange it is that the mighty Rama stands exiled by the words of a woman. I cannot understand why Lakshmana did not forcibly re- restrain the king, seeing him to be straying from the from the path of righteousness. Shatrugna was mystified that such an injustice could have taken place. How did how did Rama allow himself to be sent away, causing his father's death? What sin had that powerful and virtuous prince ever committed? Had he been present, Shatrugna would surely have intervened. Kaikeyi and her evil maid would have been checked and severely rebuked for their unforgivable behavior. As Shatrugna thought in this way, they arrived at the king's palace and saw Manthara at the gate. She was wearing costly garments and adorned with jewels ornaments. Seeing the two princes, she grasped and shrank back. Immediately, the doorkeeper seized her and dragged her to the princess, saying, "Here is the cruel wasted responsible for the exile of your beloved lord. Do with her what you will." Shatrugna became inflamed and took hold of Manthara, pulling her into the palace. He spoke in front of many others mad servants who were standing there. "This wicked one shall now reap the fruits of the evil deeds. She has brought acute and unbearable pain to all in this house, as well as to all the citizens of Ayodhya. Watch now as I punish her." Manthara shrieked loudly, being held tightly by Shatrugna. All her female companions ran away in different directions, fearful that the enraged Shatrugna would also turn on them. The prince dragged Manthara violently across the floor, and her ornaments broke and scattered on the blue marble floor like so many stars in the sky. Kaikai heard her servant screaming and came quickly to help her. Seeing her, Shatrugna began rebuking her with harsh words. Kaikai was pained by Shatrugna's harsh words and ran to Bharata for protection. Bharata moved away from his mother and spoke to the furious Shatrugna. Even when sinful, women should never be slain. You should therefore forgive this maidservant. Indeed, I would have slain my own mother if the eternal moral law did not forbid it, and certainly such an act would never be pleasing to Ram. Oh, our pious brother would never speak with us again if he heard that we killed this woman. Hearing Bharata admonition, Shatrugna released Manthara and she fell almost unconscious to the floor. Kaikeyi raised her up and she wailed piteously. Her clothes and hairs in disarray. Kaikeyi looked fearfully at Shatrugna and gently calmed her servant. Although Manthara had brought about a terrible calamity in Kaikeyi's life, the queen felt no anger towards her. Her son, severe reaction had made Kaikeyi thoughtful. She remembered her husband's word when she asked for the boons. She had been right. She had always loved Rama like her own son. What had proceeded her so that she had desired his exile? She considered it the work of all powerful providence. Manthara could not be blamed. She was only an instrument in the hands of destiny. Thinking of Ram and feeling she had done him a great injustice. Kaikeyi watched in silence as Bharata and Shatrugna left. On the 14th day after the funeral, the king's counselor confirmed conferred and then spoke with Bharata, wanting to install him as king. They said, as your elder brother had gone to the forest along with Lakshmana, there will be no sin in your superseding him and accepting the throne. Therefore, O jewels among men, be consecrated as our rulers and protect us with justice and compassion. The counselors showed Bharata that the seat and coronation paraphernalia with which had been prepared for Rama's installation, exactly as Rama had done. However, Bharata walked around the seat in respect and said, I shall never accept this kingdom. Passing over the pious Rama, all of you know well the rule in our race. The kingship is always conferred upon the eldest brother. Therefore, Ram will be the ruler of this earth. Let a large and powerful army be made ready, for we shall go to the forest to bring back Ram. Bharata pointed to the paraphernalia. Taking all these items, we shall perform Ram's coronation even in the forest. You may then bring him back in honor as the king. I myself shall remain there in his place for 14 years. I shall never allow my mother to realize her wicked ambition. Bharata became enlivened as he contemplated the possibility of bringing Ram home. He felt sure that Ram could be convinced to return. When he saw Bharata coming to get him with all people of Ayodhya, he ordered that expert architects and engineers construct a road to the forest. The work should begin immediately and then would leave as soon as possible. All the Brahmins counselors applauded Bharata, saying, very good, it shall be done. They blessed Bharata and he felt delighted in mind. His face lit up with joy and tears flowed from his eyes, thinking of Rama and his imminent, imminent return. Everyone found their grief displayed. Thousands of skilled men were employed in the task of building the road. Absorbing thoughts of Ram, they worked swiftly, leveling the road to lay out a broad road paved with great slab of red stone. The work was carried out as quickly as possible. Wells were dug and large ponds e- excavated. Trees were planted along the edge of the road to provide shade, and fragrant gardens were laid out at intervals. The great highway was decorated with festoons and sprinkled with scented water mixed with sandalwood paste. Along the way, tents, encampments enclosed by wide moats were erected for the army. Temples were constructed and the image of Vishnu and the lords were installed and worshipped. In some place where the men had mansions built and villages grew up around these house. The road extended from Ayodhya way Ayodhya all the way to the Gangas, strewn with various forest flowers. It appears like a pathway made by the god and leading to the heaven. Within less than a month, the road was complete. Bharata summoned Sumantra and ordered him to have the army prepared to leave. In great eagerness, the army chiefs prepared everything for the journey of to the forest, mounting upon his own golden car drawn by six pair of horses. Bharata set out from the city. He was followed by 9,000 elephants, 60, my God, 9,000 elephants, 60,000 chariots, and 100,000 infantry. All the royal counselor and priest accompanied him as well as Dasharatha's three wives. The procession from Ayodhya consisted of thousands of citizens of all classes. It made its way slowly towards the forest. Merchants set out shops and artisans and craftsmen of all kinds of peddled their trades along the road. Thousands of Brahmins, their minds absorbed in meditation, followed the procession on bullock carts, uttering benediction and prayers. After some days, Bharata arrived near Srinagar, where Rama's friend Guha lived. Halting on the bank of Gangas, the prince set up camp. Bharat descended from his chariot along with Shatrugna and went down to the river bank, where he laid down in prostrated obeisance. Along with his brother and Dasharatha's wives, he offered Ganga water to the king's departed soul. Guha had been Bharata approached and said to his counselor, "This huge army appears like a sea without any shore. I see in the distance a towering banner bearing the emblem of Bharata. Surely he had came here wishing harm to Ram." Oh my God. Guha thought Bharata intended to kill Ram in order to establish his unchallenged right to the kingdom. Seeing the tremendous number of people accompanying Bharata, he felt fearful. I think this prince will either blind us with chains or kill us, finding us entirely devoted to Ram. Guha continue. Have our men stand ready with weapons and clothed in mail. The boat should each be filled with 100 warriors and should wait on the other side of river. Ram is our Lord and Master, and we shall do whatever is in our power to assist him. Goa decided to go personally to Bharat and discover his purpose, taking various sweetmeats and fruits as an offering. He went with his chief minister towards the prince's tent. As he approached the nearby, Sumantra saw him and informed Bharata, "Here come the Nisan, the king Guha, accompanied by a thousands of his men. He is Ram's friend and he knows well everything about the forest. O noble king, you should allow him to see you, for he will surely knows Ram whereabout." Bharata immediately gave order that Goa be shown into his tent. He he came before Bharata and humbly bowed down, saying, "This kingdom is yours, O prince. As Ram's friend, you are my friend and indeed my lord. Be pleased to accept these foodstuffs and please also stay in my house. Allow my men to entertain your army tonight and tomorrow, so you may leave refreshed to accompany your purpose. Bharata could understand Guha's mind. He was pleased by his reception and by his devotion to Ram. He spoke gently to Nisa, the rulers. It is a pleasure to meet you, dear friend of my brother. We are satisfied by your kind hospitality. Bharata pointed across the Gangas. I heard Ram went that way, O king, towards Bharadwaja hermitage. By which route should we proceed in order to find him, O king? Should we cross this river or going along its bank? Guha was apprehensive. He looked down at as he replied to Bharata, seeing your vast army, my mind was filled with fear. I trust that you wish no harm to Ram. If that is the case, then my fair man can take you across the river and show you the way. Bharata reassured Guha, may the time never came when any wickedness towards Ram enter in my heart. Do not have any doubt about me, O Guha. I am here to bring back Lord Ram to Ayodhya. My glorious brother is as good as my father, and I long to see him again. Pray, point out his whereabouts to me, and shall go. I shall go and praise his feet to my head. Tear spans to Goa's eyes as he replied, there can be none equal to you on this globe. O joyful among men, who else could renounce the rulership of the world? Surely your fame will be everlasting. Rest now for the night, and tomorrow I shall make all the arrangements. Took his leave from Bharata, and the prince lay down to sleep, thinking of Ram. He was seized with sorrow. Perhaps he would not be able to find him. Many months had passed since Rama had left. Who knows where he might be now? Bharata was unable to sleep. He was oppressed with an agony which waited upon him like a heap of rocks. Having signed Bharata tosses around, immersed in a thoughtful of Ram, gradually he dulled down afrost, and as the sun rose, Goa returned. The forest king spoke again to Bharata. He described how Rama had spent a night there, and then, after matting his hair, and had left for the deep forest with Lakshmana and Sita, who indicated the way that they had gone. Hearing how Ram had matted his hair, Bharata becomes apprehensive. Surely Ram would not now return. He resolved to remain as an ascetic for 14 years, must be firm. Seized with such thoughts, Bharata all of a sudden fell to the ground. Saddened at heart, Shatrugna raised his brother, who sat shedding tears. Kausalya and Sumatra quickly approached him and spoke comforting words. Bharata recovered his composure and said to Guha, tell me everything about Rama. What foods did he eat? Where did he sleep? Where did he say? Guha told Bharata how he had offered Ram many excellent cooked foods, but Ram had refused them, they saying it is never the duty of a ruler to accept charity. Indeed, we should always give charity to other, others. Guha explained how Ram had drunk only water and then had slept upon a bed of grass laid out by Lakshmana Bharata. Lakshmana. Bharata asked to be shown the place where Ram slept, and Guha took him to the foot of the tree where the bed still lay. Seeing it, Bharata loudly exclaimed, "Alas, how could it be that one such as Ram should lay down on a bed of grass? He was even accustomed to sleep at the top of a high palace, in rooms with golden floors spreaded with the finest rugs, having always been awakened by the sweet strain of music and song. How is he now reused by the roar of wild beasts?" Bharata lamented at length as the reality of Ram's exile and ascetic life struck him. The injustice was insufferable to Bharata, and it was made even more excruciating by the thought that he was the cause. His voice was filled with pain. This is truly incredible. It cannot be real. Surely I am dreaming, seeing here the strands of gold left by Sita. Oh, where she's lay on the grasses, her delicate limbs pressed to the hard ground. I am ruined indeed, for it is on my account that all this has happened. Image of Ram and Sita dressed in the forest attire, emaciated due to eating only fruits and roots, filled Bharata's mind, breath- beating his head and cried out, "From this day I shall wear matted logs and tree bark. I shall lay upon the bare earth to sleep and shall eat only simple forest fare." Bharata becomes even more determined to find Rama and bring him back to Ayodhya, staying himself in the forest in Ram's place after spending another night sleeping on the spot where Ram had lain. Bharata had the army prepared to leave. Guha brought 5,000 large boats equipped with oarsmen and sails. He offered his own personal boat to the Bharata and his relatives. Some boats were filled with women, some with horses, and other with chariots. As the boats peeled across the river, the elephants swam with the flags on their back, waving the bridge. Many of the soldiers also swam while their equipped was carried in the boat. Late in the afternoon, the whole party assembled again on the other side of a river, ordering them to camp at that spot. Bharata went with Vaishishta and other Brahmins to look for Bharadwaja hermitage. Out of deference on to the great sage Bharataja, whose only wealth was asceticism, Bharata approached him wearing only simple clothes, leaving his armor and weapon behind with Vaishishta and their head. The prince and his counselor went on foot and soon arrived at the sage's hermitage. As soon as he saw them at his door, the sage hurried rose and he had his disciples fetched water to wash their feet. He embraced Vasishtha and offered blessing to Bharata, who had fallen prostrate at his feet. Bharadwaja gazed at Bharata, whom he recognized as Ram's brother. The sage knew by his own mystic vision that Dasharatha was dead. After inquiring about the situation in Ayodhya, the sage asked Bharata, "What brings you all this way?" Leaving aside the onerous business of managing the state, Because of your mother's word, you are ruling the world as its undisputed monarch. I trust that you have not came here with some dark intention towards the sinless and perfect Ram. The sage words caught into Bharata. Tears flowed from his eyes as he replied in a hot voice, if even you impute such motives to me, then I am truly ruined. I never approved my mother's aims. I cannot even imagine doing harm to Ram, nor will I ever accept the kingdom. Feeling that no one would believe his innocence, Bharata felt despair. He folded his hands and spoke imploringly. The powerful Ram is the true ruler of the earth. I have came here to bring back to Ayodhya, falling at his fate. I shall make him return and then remain here in his place. Oh, all-knowing sage, please to be gracious to me and show me where Ram is staying. Bharata sincerity was obvious. The all-knowing Bharadwaja smiled. He placed his hand upon Bharata's head, who sat before him weeping, and said, I surely knew of your intention and spoke only to Hermitage, yours spiritual, and indeed your fame. You are a worthy member of your royal line. O Prince, and are always dedicated to the service of your elders. Your devotion to Ram is beyond doubt. The sage assured Bharata that he would point out Ram's whereabouts. He asked the prince to stay the night at his hermitage and leave the following morning. Bharata agreed, and the sage then offered a feed the entire army. Astonished, Bharata said, we have already received sufficient hospitality from you, kind sir. As a forest dweller, you need only offer simple fruits, and this you have done. My army is vast and occupy a huge area of land. If I brought them here, they would all but wasted this holy site. Bharadwaja laughed and replied, have your army brought here forthwith? You should not doubt my ability to receive them, nor will there be any trouble at all. Commanded by the sage, Bharata assented, sending back one of his men. He had the army approach at the hermitage. As they moved slowly through, through the forest, Bharadwaja sat in the meditation. By uttering Vedic mantras. He invoked the presence of the principle of God. He then requested them to provide hospitality for the divine prince and his army. Seated in trains, the sage said within himself, let the sacred river bear to his region all kind of celestial beverage. Let the moon god bring every sort of excellent cooked food. May the heavenly architect Vishwakarma create a suitable site for receiving the army. May Indra send all his Apsara along with the Gandharvas clan to entertain these troops. As Bharadwaja invoked a various divine being with perfectly pronounced Sanskrit humans, they all appeared before him, a cool and a delightful Pregnant blaze began to blow. Thick shower of flowers fell from the heaven, and the sound of celestial music was heard. As the Gandharvas Gandharvas sang and played often Venas, hosts of Apsara danced all of Bharatan and Torjech who had assembled at the hermitage felt their heart moved by the exquisite sight and sounded seen and heard everywhere. Before everyone eyes, the entire area around the hermitage changed wonderfully. For a radius of 14 miles, the ground becomes even carpeted with soft blue grass. Numerous type of fruits trees sprang up, full of ripe fruits, mangoes, guavas, peach, melon, and innumerable other soft and hard fruits were seen alongside streams of celestial clear water stood large with mansions furnished with seats and coaches. A great palace appeared that like a white cloud and had a large arched doorway. Delicious food and drink were laid out in this spacious building. With Bharadwaja's permission, Bharata entered to enter the palace, which was adorned with countless flower garlands and sprinkled with scents. Seeing a golden throne, Bharata simply walked around it and sat on the seat near to it, surrounded by his chief minister. Streams of sweetened milk and creamed flour paste to the palace by Bharadwaja. Mystic power, many tree in the hermitage came to live and began played upon different musical instruments. Some of them assumed of a form of dwarfs and began to move about it haste. Serving Bharata and his army all around, there appeared thousands of golden vessels containing food of every description, heaped of streaming white rice were seen, along with tanks filled with milk, drinks, and yogurt. Pot of honey and a large jar filled with intoxicating drinks stood next to the platter containing delicious sweetmeats. Beautiful young maiden attended upon the soldier, washing them and massage, massaging their feet and body with fragrant oils. These celestial damsel all lavender in pure silk garments served the main food on golden plates. Being maddened with pleasure, the troops laughed loudly and ran about in all directions. They praised Bharata and Rama again and again as they partook of every kind of enjoyable thing. Although they ate and drank huge amounts, they found that they were still not sated. Their sense and minds become more and more enlivened and they felt renewed and refreshed. Even the army animals were carefully tended and given all kind of foods and drink by the celestial being invoked by Bharadwaja. As the night ended, the troops saw before them numerous items of territory to toiletry, pots of hot water along with soaps and unguent in silver and west wooden cases appeared. Comb, brush, tails and shining mirror were in abundance, as well as fresh clothes, shoes and all kind of ornaments as the men bathed and put on their clothes and armors. The god and Asura left the hermitage and returned to the heavens. The army was astonished by the night's events, which seemed like a dream. They looked around at the hermitage, which had returned to its normal appearance. Everything had disappeared except for the celestial garland strewn about, which also crushed were as fresh than they had been all the beginning of a night. As the sun rose, Bharata went to Bharadwajal after the sage morning prayers. The prince bowed before him and asked his permission to leave. Bharadwaja blessed him and said, "I trust you and your followers spend an enjoyable night. Please tell me if there is any else I can do for you." Bharata thanked him for his hospitality and asked to be shown the way towards Ram hut in the woods. The sage smiled and said, "There is a mountain some 20 miles from here named Chitrakuta, full of lovely cave and groups. On the northern side of that mountain, shaded by blossoming trees, flows the Mandakini River. There, by that river, you will find your two brothers." As the sage spoke, Kausalya and Sumitra got down from the chariot and clasped her feet. They thanked him profusely as they anticipated. Seeing Ram, Kaikeyi also came to the sage and shamefully bowed before him, feeling guilty and at her heart. Looking at her with compassion, the sage asked Bharata, "Please tell me who are these noble lady?" Bharata indicated Kausalya, saying, "This godly lady is the mother of the lion like Ram afflicted with griefs. She is emaciated with fasting, clinging to her arms in the celebrated Sumitra, the mother of Lakshmana and Shatrugna, these two great heroes." Become angry, hissing like a cobra, he spoke. Bharata indicated Kaikeyi. "This one here is my own mother, the wicked and vulgar Kaikeyi. It was by her intuitions that the great empire Dasharatha died from anguish, and the mighty Ram now reside in a lonely mountain range." Bharadwaja, who knew the plan of the gods and the divine arrangement of the Supreme Lord, said to Bharata, "You should not censure your mother, O great prince. Do not think her guilty of Ram's banishment will result in good to the entire universe. Indeed, it will bring happiness to the gods, demons, and races, along with the whole of creation." Bharata blushed deeply. He had been preached to her mother with angry looks, and he felt rebuked by the sage, unable to immediately subdue his anger. He averted his gaze and tried to assimilate Bharadwaja's instructions. He stood up and walked respectfully around the sage, receiving his permission to leave. Bharata ordered the army to the mount, sorry, depart and mount upon his chariot. Guha accompanied the true princess as the huge mass of men moved off through the woods. They made They made a great noise, terrifying the deer and the birds dwelling there, slowly approaching the approaching the Chitrakuta mountain, they all thought only of Ram, longing to see him again. This is how Bharata act after did the last rite of his father Dasaratha, and he promised to Ayodhya peoples that he will bring back to Ram. He will bring Rams back. This is how he showing his love and affectionate to his brother Ram, Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Jagannath, Lord Sri Ram, Jai Jagannath.